Hi, Marcel, the wood butcher. Oh my God, wait a minute. I forgot something. I forgot to show the sign. Okay, there we are. Well, anyway, hey, like I said, you people know I'm a one-man show. We're going to kind of jump projects here. Oh, let me center the camera again. Jump projects here. And if you remember, I posted a video once before about making don't mind the wire hanging off the bottom of it and stuff like that. It's there for a purpose. I was talking about making a business card holder that had an eagle mounted to it, kind of like that, right? I wish my lighting was better. No, no. Kind of like that. Well, the eagle's backwards. I'm sorry. Well, the eagle wrapped his tail around the flagpole to show his whole to the world. Well, not in this case. Okay. But uh, I want to show you how I'm going to finish this. Okay. And it was a piece of it was a piece of pallet wood. And I have the drywall screw driven in the back of it, probably only about 2 or 3 spines deep, just enough to hold it while it's drying after I shellac it. But before I shellac it, there's like 2, 3 layers of hand rubbed, I believe it's uh, my favorite stain is early American. I think that's early American. It looks like it. But after that, before I shellac it, what I want to do is I have some I hope you can see that, double grit steel wool. I'm done with sandpaper on this until the layers are done. And what I'm going to do with that double zero steel wool is lightly over the edges first, all the edges, just to get whatever dust particles may have set down, what other bubbles might have happened because of the recent humidity here in New Jersey that we had, when I first stained this. And and then take the same double zero steel wool and rub the top with the grain, with the grain. When you're using the final methods, when you're down to steel wool, go with the grain. Okay. Now you'll notice the bottom, I didn't finish shit on the bottom of it yet, right? And I'm not real concerned about the bottom because I've already planed it where if I sit it on a level surface, and what I usually use for what I know is a level surface is either the bed on my table saw or the bed on my compound miter saw. They're probably the only two surfaces here, or the bed on my drill press, because those are the only ones that I know they're level. Okay. Now, after this point, a lot of people are going to tell you use tack cloth. I don't like using tack cloth because tack cloth leaves a residue. Tack cloth is fine if you're doing a wall or something like that, but for fine woodworking, the stuff it's more headache than it's worth. So I start off with the blue shop towels, dry and clean, fresh off the roll, and just start rubbing the crap out of it kindly hard. I start with the edges first, just till they get a little bit of a sheen again, where I know I have it all the way. And it's important to use, and I highly recommend, instead of wadding it up like this, like I did here, is to fold the tack cloth into 4 pieces. I'll show you, or into 4 sections. I'll show you how to do that so that you can see your progress of what sanding dust is being removed. And this is where the screw comes in handy too. You can hold it in the center and rub the crap out of it to get all the dust out. Okay? Then when you look at your cloth, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see some of the hazy brown residue. Now, in this case, yeah, I wadded the cloth up, but if we unwad the cloth, there's, can you see the brown residue on there? Okay. Now, I have a clean side of the cloth, and I'm going to take it, and this is what you should start off with, which I didn't. I apologize for that. Is to just simply fold it in half, right? Get yourself a center point. Just finger it down. And then fold it in half again. So what this actually does is it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 new surfaces to work on with the same cloth. Although these aren't that expensive, why spend what you don't have to spend? Go over it again. Go over to one edge. Take a look. It's clean. Go over here, the other edge. Do the whole thing. Do the whole thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll hold it up higher. Oh, by the way, while I'm doing this, I just thought you guys would like to know that I have ordered and have received, I just got to learn how to use them now, is a wide-angle lens for my Nikon 5100D digital camera to make better videos. I've also ordered a good lapel mic to wear so that the sound is better. And I've also, for the Nikon 5100 or D5100 that I use for some shots, I ordered one of those, what they call the interview, or that, on the top of the camera, that mic that sticks out like this. Ordered one of them. And I got to tell you, the whole pack, oh, and a wide angle lens. All of those products through Amazon only cost me $134. And they're due to be delivered, within a day or two. And when they come in, I'll let you know how good they work. Oh, and when I ordered this stuff, before I placed the order, I did research, to see which was the best for the bang for the buck for YouTube videos. Now, you can see how clean that is. And you can see if I go to a cleaner section, and you can also see the section I used. There is, I don't even know if, I'm going to put this down a second. I don't even know if you can see it, but there is such a small, little thing of brown here. I got to tell you, it doesn't even look like a fart stain in white underwear if you change your underwear twice a day. That's how minute it is. Okay, I'm just going to tighten up this screw on the back. Okay, now that's stage 1. Looks pretty good, right? I think it's ready for a shellac finish. The one thing I got to tell you about this piece, and I hope you can see this, is I love the way it kind of bevels itself, from the thickness to the little bit more narrow on the front, and that's the front. And I think it looks, I wish I could show you on an angle, but I can't. That's the best way I can show you. I think that just gives it a little touch of that handmade, repurposed, recycled wood. And I got to tell you, this a month ago was a slat from a pallet. Okay. Now, if you remember back to the video, or if you watch the video, we also had a piece from the failed, and believe me, it's a failed project to this point, of the 8-tier candle holder. Well, I really screwed up the first 2 cuts I made on it, but being the wood butcher, I said, nah, I'm not throwing this wood away and I'm not putting it in the burn pit. So what I did is I took a block of the piece that I cut off. I rounded it off a little bit on the back end on the belt sander. Well, I have a benchtop belt sander and disc sander, right? And then just went around it and then beveled the front of it, smoothed it out, and I got a little and along here. Then I got this idea to mount this eagle from an old flagpole on top of it. It's a plastic eagle. He was duressed a little bit. He'd been flying off the house for probably about 10, 15 years. But the feathers and everything, once I took a brushes to it and that, came out fine. And the detail came out fine. So then what I did, I took a can of, I don't even know the manufacturer's name, gold spray paint. Very, very, very thin layers. That's probably about 7 very, very thin layers, because I did not want to fill the detail between the wings and that with spray paint. I didn't want to hide his eyes or anything like that with spray paint. So spray paint is a patience, and the way to do it right. But that's another video. And I put him on this block. I drilled a hole in the bottom to accept a drywall screw, and I drilled I think that's about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch hole, so that it resets, so that the drywall screw is well inside. Okay? But now it's time to take this. He's been stained again, hand stained, before the eagle was on it. Oh, and when I finish this, the eagle, I just take the screw out of his ass and he comes off fine, right? Oh, there was also another bit. Matter of fact, I should take this off right now to show you what else I had to do. And I'll show you how easy it comes off. I'm not even going to use a screw gun. I'm just going to use the manual screwdriver. Right? And I want you to notice, it's a healthy screw. It's 1.25 inches, right? But the bottom of the eagle, the ones that sit in the flagpoles, have this piece on the bottom. I had to actually cut, excuse me, about a 1/2 inch off that so that it would fit in here. Another alternative is, if you're making the block from scratch, make the block just to fit it and make the hole that deep. But I didn't have that luxury. But what we're going to do, put that eagle over there so he doesn't get fucked up. We're going to hit him again with the 00 steel wool with the grain. And when we were building the, to this point, failed 7-tier candle holder, I mentioned something about how important it is and how classy it looks, and what makes the difference between a real proud piece and a just thrown together piece that you want to make some money off of is the wood grain. Even with the sanding dust on there, I think you can see, and that's 2 pieces of wood glued together from the same piece of wood, how I match the grain on that raw end, on that end grain, and also on the back on the end grain. I'm trying to hold this So you can see it the best, but it's hard for me to judge by this screen. But you can see the size, it doesn't matter. And we're going to use the same thing. We're going to use the same cloth because remember, we have 4 sections here. We're going to, remember how dull that looks? We're going to wipe it off. Now keep in mind, that's end grain, right? On the side grain, we're going to wipe it off. We sanded. And we're going to do the same thing. Whoop. Come on. Cooperate with me. Okay, you want to get stubborn. It's a small piece. And you got to rub hard when you're doing this. You really do. Because what you're actually doing is you're not only removing the sanding dust, but with a very, very low abrasive. Yes, even a shop towel or a rag is abrasive. And it's also smoothening, not by much, but by a little bit. Okay, and then we do the top. And remember, do all of this with the grain. And again, the bottom is not done on this, and it doesn't matter because it's getting glued and screwed right to there. So it doesn't matter. Okay? And now here you can clearly see the amount that the paper towel took off, or the shop towels. I don't use a regular paper towel. Use the blue shop towels. They're thicker, they take more abuse. Or use an old t-shirt or some kind of rag. I don't advise using terry cloth because terry cloth, a lot of times you'll find if you push too hard with it, it'll leave lines. I'm going to go a little bit more. And this is the second rubbing. You saw the residue that was on the first side. I flip-sided the rag. That's what we took off for sanding dust and excess stain, whatever, which was sanding dust on the first rub. And that's what came off on the second rub. Again, it's less than a fart stain if somebody changed their underwear 4 times a day. Okay? So now, I think they're ready for shellacking. Now, I'm still up in the air because I'm actually more of a lacquer fan for stuff like this than I am a shellac fan. To be honest with you, this is going to be the first project that I'm actually going to use shellac on, right? Because I look at it this way. If I screw it up, if I don't like the finish, it was a piece of pallet, and from a failed project, and if it doesn't look good enough to gift or sell, I'd be proud to have it on my desk. And again, just a reminder in case you didn't see the first video, what this is going to end up to be is, where's the eagle? He's not going to be screwed in, so he's probably not going to be straight and everything else, but the eagle is going to sit here on a bit of an angle, and then there's going to be 2 brass pedestals here that hold business cards. And then behind the eagle, I'm going to drill a hole. I forget what the size of the mini flagstaffs are, but depending on, I'm thinking of doing them 2 ways, right? Or this one 2 ways. I don't know if it's just one American flag in the middle, or if it's an American flag, which always goes to the right, and if you're a veteran, whatever branch of service you were in on the other side. The first one, I think I'm going to do with just the American flag. But the thing that'll happen if I make more of these, none of them will ever, ever again have that pattern to the wood, because that's the way it came off the pallet. That's the way I liked it, I finished it, and sanded it. So, if you have any questions or comments, down below is the comments. Uh, if you want plans for how I do these things, well, I don't have any yet because a lot of you know I'm not big on drawings. I just go with the imagination. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, ah. I have a couple of videos out there on how to turn failed projects into profitable projects. And it just so happens this piece here that goes on this piece here is one of them. Okay, so for right now, this is Marcel, the wood butcher, saying protect your eyes, protect your lungs, protect your ears, and don't ever, ever forget about these guys. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a whole video on the shop accidents that I have had and what caused them and how they happened through my cockiness and my carelessness and overconfidence in the shop so that it doesn't happen to you again. Okay? So, Semper Fi, my friends. Please, if you like what you see, subscribe. Take care.